Welcome back, True Seeker. Vice Sports, part of Vice News, wrote an article recently about me calling me a wacko YouTuber. Before we come to this article, I want to remind you what was written about me January 27th, 2016 by USA Today's Big Lead. Article says, conspiracy theorist proves Freemasons rigged AFC and NFC championship games. And really, that wasn't a very truthful headline because what they were really trying to make fun of me for was the fact that I had exposed exactly what Super Bowl 50 would be from October of that season on, saying why the Broncos would beat the Panthers, why Von Miller would be the MVP, why there would be a Black Panther tribute, how it was all synced up with the race war in the news, pitting black against white, often headlines of white police officers shooting black civilians. Also, I talked about how that Super Bowl would have a connection to Super Bowl 24, and the Broncos went on to win with 24 points. Of course, I said that would be the case because the Broncos were 55 years old. So was John Elway, who got blown out in Super Bowl 24 by the 49ers, who hosted Super Bowl 50. Everything I talked about came true. And this article was written the weekend before that Super Bowl was played, trying to make me look like a Looney Tune, attacking me for my work on rig sports, plus other things. The end of the article takes a shot at me for exposing the Sandy Hook lies. I'll link this article down below if you never read it before. It used to link my videos in it, but because Google deleted all of my content this past summer, the videos no longer work, If you do read this article, the last paragraph links to the Simpsons episode about Freemasonry. And in a way, I think the author of this article was trying to acknowledge that I really was correct by linking this. Again, Simpsons, a lot of predictive programming. They did it last year for the Super Bowl that the Patriots won over the Falcons, which I talked about the day Tom Brady came back. That same day, release of a Simpsons episode about the Patriots, how that was synced up with the upcoming Super Bowl at the time, Super Bowl 51. So anyway, that was then, this is now. This article trying to make fun of me for my work on this past World Series. In spring training, I said I liked the Astros to be in the World Series. In August, after the manufactured flooding of Houston, I explained how Houston was a lock to win the World Series. After the fires in LA, I explained how them beating the Los Angeles Dodgers made a lot of sense. Exactly what happened. So let's just read this article. Wacko YouTuber proves. Notice how both articles did the same thing. Emphasize the word proves while making fun of me in the headline. Wacko YouTuber proves World Series was rigged. Then subheadline. A YouTuber has crunched all the numbers and shows exactly how the World Series was scripted to have Houston win. Spot the lie. This was written November 20th, 2017. Just got wind of it today, almost a month later. So they link my video here, which is still up, but only for so long. I'm on my 10th channel since June, so just a matter of time until this one's deleted, and that video link doesn't work either. But what it says is, what you are watching above is 8 minutes and 33 seconds of commentary that intends to prove that the World Series and all sports really was rigged. And it doesn't intend to prove, it does prove. Everything I've shown proves that sports are rigged. I have called pretty much every sports championship correctly in the time I've been aware of this knowledge. For anyone who missed what I did in this year's college basketball tournament, before it began, I explained that North Carolina would beat Gonzaga. I said the Carolinas would do great in the tournament because it was all about the bathroom bill. If you forget, bathroom bill cost the NBA the All-Star game from Charlotte. It got moved. And it was making big headlines at the time the tournament was starting again. Bathroom bill was about who can use the bathroom, the men, the women, or the trannies. Who won the women's tournament? And I said the Carolinas were going to do well. The South Carolina Gamecocks won the women's tournament, but the nickname for the ladies' team is the Ladycocks. The Ladycocks, the bathroom bill, who can use it, the trannies. Like I've been proving, sports and media, news, it's all part of a script that's all together. But in the men's tournament, I said it would be North Carolina over Gonzaga, and 71 was the number. North Carolina won with 71 points. Why did I know it was 71? Because the bracket was decided on the 71st day of the year. The Jesuits run the world of basketball and pro sports. Catholic equals 71. So does Gonzaga. So does Gonzaga Bulldogs. So does March Madness. North Carolina beats Gonzaga with 71 points in the championship. Those are just a few of the many things I've called in the world of sports. I've called so many things correctly in the years that I've been doing this. My work deserves a lot more attention. And I don't deserve to be called a wacko because I have proven my points rock solid. You know, this isn't some flimsy foundation, some out there theory at this point. This is something that's never been seen. And all these long-nosed tyrants in the media, all they can do is try to mock and discredit, you know, being what they are. So let's continue. He writes, it involves Matt Harvey. This is about the rigging for this past World Series. Matt Harvey, Hurricane Harvey, Sports Illustrated, Gematria, an alphanumeric cipher that assigns a numeric value to words and phrases, and Charlie Morton's pitch count. Well, it's really more than that. Then he writes, the video comes courtesy of a guy named Zachary K. Hubbard, and he is convinced that everything is rigged. Well, anyone with a brain should be convinced that anything and everything coming through the media is rigged by this code, which I've proven 1,000 times over. News, politics, the weather, sports, everything. Getting down to the brass tacks, Hubbard persists that the Astros World Series victory was foretold by Matt Harvey's start in Houston, which just so happened to be the first start after the Houston area was devastated by Hurricane Harvey. I mean, does that seem like a coincidence to anybody, that Matt Harvey was the first pitcher in Houston after Harvey? What are the odds of that? That start, coincidentally, the media loves to use that word, it's programming, was 52 days before the start of the World Series. Hold on to your butts, because we've only just scratched the surface. So then he quotes me here. The reason that matters is because the word flood in Gematria equals 52. Houston flooded on a date with 52 numerology on August 27th, which was the 239th day of the year, which is the 52nd prime number. It was 27 years to the day of the death of Stevie Ray Vaughan, who was remembered for the album Texas Flood. Think about it. What he cut out of this quote was how I talk about flooding by world militaries has been admitted since the year 52. In the Lynmouth flash flooding that killed 30-some people in Operation Cumulus, which is all historical fact, he cut that part out. See, he didn't want that there. It's incriminating. He doesn't want people looking up that incident and seeing that this is real. He wants to make it seem like I'm just out there with this theory on flooding in 52. So then he writes, in light of these numbers and some other extremely reasonable stuff about the government causing flash floods, see, well, at least he sort of brings it up, but he doesn't quote what I said. By doing chemistry in the sky, he quotes that part, because he can kind of make me look dumb. And Charlie Morton recorded the final out of Game 7 on his 52nd pitch. It's pretty obvious that baseball is no different than pro wrestling. And that's true. He's trying to be sarcastic, but it's absolutely true. All of professional sports is rigged and scripted as the WWE. It's exactly identical. And also what he leaves out are the numerous other examples of 52 in this past year's MLB playoffs and World Series. There were so many tributes to 52, it was mind-numbing. So then he writes, but it's not just the games themselves that are rigged. Even things like managerial firings are all part of the equation. Now you might be wondering how something like firing the manager can be rigged, and I gotta tell you, that is a very fair question. Nevertheless, here is a video about how the fix was in for Joe Girardi. If you watch this video, I mean, the points I express are very clear. The points I make are very clear. You'd have to be a fool to deny what I showed, especially in light of what happened after, which was the hiring of Aaron Boone, which happened after this article was written. But Aaron Boone's hiring proved exactly what I said about Joe Girardi, which we'll come back to. So he writes, again, this is a perfect example of how all of the world of professional sports is scripted by a numerological code. What is true of Joe Girardi's firing today is true of every single thing that happens in the world of professional sports. Girardi, Hubbard tells us, was fired on October 26th, which is the 299th day of the year, leaving 66 days left in the year. We all know where this one is going. Using gematria and whatever else he can find to get something to 66, Hubbard says that Girardi gets a value of 66 using the alphabetic order. I don't know why he misspelled alphabetic. And Joe Girardi also gets a 66 with the reduction method, which sounds totally above board. Well, in the video, I educate on how these methods work and the significance of 66. Girardi, a manager for 11 years. If you add 1 through 11, it equals 66. He was coaching in New York, the 11th state. Anyhow, there was also a fairly sizable detour in his video where we learned that the Jews did 9/11 and people who make fun of him are dumb, ignorant motherfuckers, which is absolutely true. And then his final point, anyway, back to the main and unassailable point we started with, which is that the World Series was rigged because Charlie Morton threw 52 pitches. No, I never made that point. I just said that that was just one last example of the rigging of 52. The final out of the World Series came on the first pitch, which was a shit pitch for the batter. There was no reason for him to swing at that ball in that situation, but he did because it had to end on the 52nd pitch. Because that is what the World Series was scripted by, which is why I guaranteed the Astros would win the World Series the day Matt Harvey pitched in Houston. And I was correct, yet again. You know, this guy makes it seem like I don't have a long resume of being right. So anyway, after Joe Girardi was fired, and in the video of Joe Girardi being let go, I talked about New York and 39, in the history of 39. From the day Joe Girardi was let go to the day Aaron Boone was hired, December 4th, was 39 days later, which was after this article came out making fun of me. Again, everything in New York is 39. New York's 39, NY's 39, NYC's 39, Empire's 39. New York was established on a date with numerology at 39. The first governor was George Clinton, born in 1739. George 39, Clinton 39. Not only was Aaron Boone hired 39 days after Girardi was let go, his birthday's March 9th, 39. His full name, Aaron John Boone, 66. Girardi equals 66. Joe Girardi, 66. Gets replaced by a guy with a name 66? You see, there's not going to be a follow-up article. Just like USA Today never followed up after my Super Bowl prediction landed on everything. They just want to try to make me look like a Looney Tune and mock my work, even though my work, and if you want to call it a theory, it's more proven than anything out there. You could laugh at anything in science if you're going to laugh at my work. If my work's a theory, I've backed it up better than any scientific theory on the planet. And with regards to this guy's comment about 9/11, I want to remind you about Vice magazine and their history with 9/11. Talked about this before. This is Vice, the same publication. Apparently, we were in on 9/11. And then they acknowledged that in their 1994 article, they put out this story. What is Al-Qaeda? In 1994, this magazine introduced Al-Qaeda. Who'd ever heard of Al-Qaeda before? And not only did they introduce Al-Qaeda, but they did it with this illustration. Beavis and Butthead wearing turbans, flying cartoon planes into the World Trade Center in 94. And you can go back and read this article. They talk about how the World Trade Centers could be brought to the ground. Does this seem like predictive programming? Does this seem like coincidence? See, they want to use that word coincidence all the time. In this article, they want to say that it's ludicrous for anyone to assume that they had any foresight on 9/11 based on this article that they wrote and illustrated in 94. You see, this is what the mainstream media does. It takes the truth and puts it in front of people's face and tells people the truth is ludicrous. It's stupid. You know, it's wacko. Sorry, my points continue to be proven. I'm still waiting for Ryan Phillips to do a real article, some real journalism, interviewing me. You know, talking about how many more things I've gotten correct since this happened. You know, I've nailed the NBA Finals twice, the Super Bowl, the World Series, college championships, and more since this happened. Where's the follow-up article? Where's the apology? You know? And then these people have the audacity to come in and write this. Wacko? You see, this is why I don't respect the long noses. This is why I'm down with 86ing the long noses. These people are the filth of the world. And they're programming the minions of the world who they call Goyim, who they say, are meant to be ruled over by the long noses. You get rid of these long noses, you get rid of their programming, you might be able to help out these Goyim. Sorry, Sean Newell. Your days are numbered, buddy. I'm going to be paying a visit to Vice Studios. I'm going to drag you out of your fucking chair myself and beat your ass and record it. That's going to be a future YouTube video. So count on it. Glad I know you're watching the channel. Count your days. Start marking X's on the calendar. You might not have 39 more left. Pay a visit to USA Today Sports too. We're going to shut down all this media when enough people wake up. Time to get your fat ass off the couch, give up the rigged sports game, and join me. It's time to crusade these motherfuckers. Sean Newell. So we'll leave it there, truth seeker. Until next time.